Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me question everything about friendship. Story 1. My friends used me for concert tickets then abandoned me in Miami. So my 2 best friends from college just completely ditched me in Miami after using me for concert tickets, and now they're demanding I still give them the tickets. Let me explain this mess. I'm 21, and I've got these 2 friends, Lily and Kate, who I met at university. Here's the thing, they're both absolutely gorgeous, like conventionally attractive in every way. Me? Not so much. I'm clean, I take care of myself, I've tried every beauty tip in the book, but I've got this really prominent nose and a wide jaw that just, well, let's say I don't turn heads like they do. We graduated this year and decided to celebrate with a trip to Miami. I bought 3 tickets to see our favorite artist, cost me $800 total, which was a huge chunk of my savings. The plan was they'd pay me back when we got there. So we're in Miami, having a decent time the first couple days, and then we go out to this club. Within minutes of walking in, these 2 super attractive guys approach Lily and Kate. They start flirting, buying them drinks, the whole thing. And me? I'm just standing there like a third wheel, completely invisible. After about an hour of this, I'm feeling pretty awkward and tired, so I tell them I'm heading back to the hotel. Kate barely looks at me and goes, "Yeah, okay, see you later." That was Thursday night. I didn't see them again until Sunday when we were supposed to fly home. They rolled into the hotel room looking like they'd been partying for 3 straight days, which apparently they had. They'd spent the entire weekend with these guys, never once checking on me or asking if I wanted to hang out. I spent the rest of the trip alone, exploring Miami by myself, which honestly wasn't terrible, but it really stung. On the flight home, they're gushing about their amazing weekend, talking about these guys they met, and then Kate casually mentions, "Oh, by the way, we can't pay you back for the concert tickets right away. Can you spot us for a bit longer?" I was already hurt and angry, so I said, "You know what? After this weekend, I don't think I want to go to the concert with you guys anymore." They completely flipped out. Lily accused me of being jealous and petty, saying it wasn't their fault guys approached them. Kate said I was being ridiculous and that they shouldn't have to babysit me when we go out. The thing is, I wasn't asking them to babysit me. I just thought we were friends celebrating together, not that I was their third wheel they could abandon the moment something better came along. They're now demanding I still give them their tickets since the concert's next weekend, saying they'll pay me back eventually. But honestly, after feeling so disposable to them, I don't want to reward that behavior. Some of our mutual friends are saying I should just give them the tickets and move on, that it's not worth losing friendships over. But others are saying they treated me terribly and I shouldn't enable that. The tickets are non-refundable, so if I don't give them to Lily and Kate, I'll probably just sell them or take other friends. Part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh, but another part of me feels like they showed their true colors this weekend. Am I wrong for keeping the tickets after they basically used me as their ticket supplier then ditched me the entire trip? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I accidentally gave my future mother-in-law explosive diarrhea. So I accidentally gave my future mother-in-law explosive diarrhea with chocolate, and now she's furious with me. This is honestly one of the most mortifying situations I've ever been in. I live with my fiancé and his parents right now, and I have this sensitivity to certain types of dairy. It's not full-blown lactose intolerance, but regular dairy definitely doesn't agree with me. So I bought these lactose-free chocolates called Happy Cow or something like that. They look exactly like giant M&Ms and taste pretty much the same too. When I got them, I was curious about how they worked, so I checked the ingredients. Turns out they contain lactose enzymes to help break down dairy, nothing crazy, no medications or anything weird, just enzymes that help people like me digest lactose better. I put them in the pantry with all the other snacks and honestly didn't think much of it. They were just sitting there with the regular candy and chips. Well, today my future mother-in-law saw them and completely lost it on me. She started yelling about how I'm trying to medicate the family without telling anyone and how dangerous it is to leave medical chocolates where anyone can grab them. I was totally confused at first because I had no idea what she was talking about. Then it hit me, she must have eaten some of my chocolates. I tried to explain that they're not medication, they're just chocolate with enzymes that help digest dairy, and they're only meant to help people who have trouble with lactose. But she was having none of it. Apparently, she'd eaten quite a few of them over the past couple weeks, thinking they were just regular chocolate someone had left out for the family. And because she doesn't have lactose issues, all those enzymes basically sent her digestive system into overdrive. She spent the better part of yesterday dealing with what she very colorfully described as explosive stomach problems. I felt absolutely terrible. I had no idea she'd been eating them, and I definitely didn't mean for anyone to get sick. I apologized profusely and offered to replace them with regular chocolate and keep my special ones in my room from now on. But she's still furious and keeps saying I should have put a warning label on them or told everyone in the house what they were. My fiancé is kind of caught in the middle. He understands it was an accident, but he also thinks I should have been more careful about leaving them in a shared space. He suggested I should have mentioned to his parents that I had special dietary chocolates in the pantry. The thing is, I honestly didn't think it was a big deal. They're sold in regular stores, not pharmacies. They're not prescription or anything dangerous. And our pantry has always been kind of a free-for-all where everyone just grabs whatever snacks they want. I never thought to put warnings on my food. But now his mom is acting like I deliberately poisoned her, and the whole house is super tense. She keeps making comments about how I'm irresponsible and inconsiderate, and she's questioning whether I'm mature enough to be marrying her son. Some of my friends are saying it's completely her fault for eating food that wasn't hers without asking. Others think I should have been more thoughtful about labeling anything that could affect someone's digestion. I'm starting to wonder if this is going to permanently damage my relationship with my future in-laws. Am I really the bad guy here for leaving lactose-aid chocolate in a shared pantry? Story 3. My dad made period jokes, so I said he gets a perpetual one. So my dad decided to make period jokes at a family dinner, and I fired back by saying he basically has a perpetual period. Now everyone's mad at me, but honestly, I think he had it coming. I'm 19, and we were having this family dinner with my dad, my younger sister, and my older sister who was visiting from college. My dad also invited one of his friends along with the friend's wife and son. Everything was going fine until my dad started up with his usual complaints about living with women. He begins telling his friend how lucky he is to have a son instead of daughters, because apparently living with women is just so incredibly difficult. Keep in mind, both my older sister and I are barely even home anymore since we moved out for college and work. So it's not like he's actually dealing with a house full of women on a daily basis. But he starts going off about how women get moody and miserable during their periods, and how we're just impossible to deal with during that time of the month. He's making all these jokes about how men have to walk on eggshells around women because you never know when we're going to snap due to our hormones. His friend is laughing along, and I can see my sisters getting uncomfortable, but my dad just keeps going. Then he really crossed the line. He starts talking about how women use their periods as an excuse for everything, being emotional, being difficult, not wanting to do certain activities. He literally said something like, "Oh, she's on her period again," that explains the attitude, while gesturing toward me and my sisters like we weren't even sitting right there. I was getting more and more annoyed, but what really set me off was when he said, "Thank God periods only last a few days each month, or we'd never get any peace." That's when I snapped. I looked right at him and said, "Well, Dad, considering how moody and miserable you are literally every single day, I'd say you're basically having a perpetual period. At least we have an excuse for a few days a month. What's yours for the other 27? The entire table went dead silent. My dad's face turned bright red, and his friend looked super uncomfortable. My dad's friend's wife actually looked like she was trying not to laugh, but everyone else just stared at me like I'd committed some horrible crime. My dad got really angry and told me I was being disrespectful and inappropriate, especially in front of guests. He said there's a difference between light-hearted joking and being deliberately hurtful. My younger sister looked mortified, and my older sister was giving me this look like, "What did you just do?" After the guests left, my dad laid into me about how embarrassing that was and how I need to learn to control my mouth. He said I made him look bad in front of his friend and that my comment was way out of line. My mom, who wasn't at the dinner, heard about it later and is also upset with me. She says I should have just ignored his comments or talked to him privately later instead of humiliating him in front of company. But here's the thing, he was perfectly fine humiliating me and my sisters in front of those same people. He had no problem making us the butt of his jokes and talking about our bodily functions like we weren't even there. My older sister texted me later saying she understood why I said it, but that I probably went too far. Some of my friends think it was hilarious and that he totally deserved it, while others think I should have taken the high road. I'm starting to wonder if I really did cross a line, or if my dad just can't handle getting a taste of his own medicine. Should I have just sat there and let him continue making period jokes at our expense? Story 4. I called out my sister's homeschooling and now she won't talk to me. So I asked my homeschooled nephew a simple question about his education, and now my sister thinks I'm attacking her parenting. This whole situation has me questioning everything about family boundaries. My nephew is in 6th grade, and my sister decided to start homeschooling him at the beginning of this school year. She felt like the public school wasn't teaching him enough, so she pulled him out to teach him herself. His older sister still goes to regular high school, so it's just him being homeschooled. My sister and I have always had a pretty good relationship, so I was genuinely curious about how the homeschooling was going when I visited yesterday. I asked my nephew, "Hey buddy, what are you learning about in school right now? What subjects are you working on?" I thought it would be a normal conversation starter, the kind of thing any aunt would ask. But instead of giving me a clear answer about math, science, or history, he got this confused look and just said, I don't know. We do some reading sometimes." That seemed odd to me for a 6th grader, so I asked a follow-up question, "What books are you reading? Are you working on any fun projects?" Again, he looked confused and said he couldn't really remember what they'd been doing lately. Now, I wasn't trying to interrogate the kid or make him feel bad. I was just making conversation the way I always do with my niece about her high school classes. But my nephew seemed genuinely uncertain about his own education, which started to worry me. My sister overheard this conversation and immediately got defensive. She jumped in and said they're doing lots of different things and that homeschooling doesn't have to follow the same structure as traditional school. She started explaining how they're taking a more natural learning approach where education happens organically through daily life experiences. I tried to be supportive and said that sounded interesting, but I asked if she was following any kind of curriculum or guidelines to make sure he's meeting 6th grade standards. That's when things got really tense. She accused me of questioning her abilities as a mother and educator. She said I clearly don't understand homeschooling and that I'm being judgmental about their choices. I tried to explain that I wasn't judging anyone, I was just concerned about my nephew's education and wanted to understand how it was structured. But she kept getting more upset, saying that traditional school failed him and that she knows what's best for her son. The conversation ended with her basically telling me to mind my own business and that she doesn't need my approval or advice about her parenting decisions. I left feeling really uncomfortable about the whole thing. Here's what's bothering me: when I ask my niece about high school, she can tell me all about her classes, her teachers, what she's learning in each subject, and what assignments she's working on. But my nephew, who's supposed to be getting an education at home, seemed to have no clear sense of what he was learning or what his school day even looked like. I'm worried that my sister might be in over her head with homeschooling but doesn't want to admit it. Education is something I care deeply about, and I'd hate to see my nephew fall behind academically because of good intentions but poor execution. At the same time, I recognize that she's his mother and she has the right to make educational decisions for her child. Maybe I overstepped by asking those questions, or maybe I should have talked to my sister privately instead of asking my nephew directly. But I also think it's normal for family members to show interest in a child's education. Now my sister isn't responding to my texts, and I'm worried I've damaged our relationship over this. Was I wrong to ask my nephew about his homeschooling, or was I right to be concerned? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.